Good morning. Yeah. Um, so I'm a little teary-eyed. Um, this has been a hard 4 days for me, and I'm assuming the rest of the month is going to be equally hard but joyful at the same time. Um, so cold. Um, I'm coming to you this morning from Point Defiance. Um, down here where the ducks usually are, but I just decided that last night that today I would talk a bit about my dad. I mentioned a couple days ago that there was a gentleman who was showing me love in a way that made me feel like I was totally undeserving of that kind of love. And it was something that was hard for me to accept because I wasn't really familiar with what a father's love or what love in detail looked like. The go back. My parents were married until I was like 27, I think. They separated when I was 12. When they separated, I remember just feeling like the world was ending, that my dad was leaving, and that this protector was no longer there. But the thing is that I think I felt like my opportunity to have a protector was being taken away from me. I want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit. As a child growing up, my mom used to tell me, your father never wanted you. He never wanted you. You know, you're a girl. Like the boys would be wrestling and playing and doing things, and I'd want to get involved in jumping and, and start wrestling too. And she would kind of pull me out and say, you're a girl. You're supposed to sit on the couch and let the boys be boys. And, you're a girl. And so I grew up with this like crazy sense of like I hated the fact that I was a girl. And if you knew me as a child, my mom would put me in dresses, and all I wanted to be was in jeans. I wanted to be running around with the boys and like hanging with the boys. And I've always been one of the boys. Hanging out with the guys was my thing. It's just what I did because I kind of wanted to be a guy. I was 100% straight, and I knew that. I just wanted to be with the guys like all the time. So, she always say like, Teresa, get up, let the boys be the boys. Or my dad would come home and I would go running to him like, Daddy, and she would say, you can't, no, Teresa, stop, back up. You can't, let the boys go. That's your father. Let the boys go. It was always about letting the boys go to be with dad. Let the boys be with dad. Your dad didn't want you. You're a girl. He never wanted girls. He had problems with girls. Your father never wanted you. That's something I heard a lot. Your father never wanted you. To the point that I believed it. I believed that he didn't have that interest in me, and so I would do over the top things to try to make him love me or accept me or want me, and like predict things in advance that he'd want. Like I know he'd come home from work, or maybe he went out in the garage and cleaned it, and he would come in and he would be sitting there, and I would like in the kitchen or something, and I'd think, you know what, I'm gonna get my dad a beer and put it in a cold glass and like take it to him, and I would just walk in and hand him a beer and be like, Dad, here's a beer for you. And he would be like, wow, like you thought about me like that. Like, cool, that's cool. Years later, my parents, they went through their divorce or their separation and whatever. I know a lot of people say that I wanted my parents to stay together, and I didn't want my parents to stay together. They were toxic together, and it was never something that I wanted. But as they were going through their separation, it became a thing that I was mad at my dad for taking away my only opportunity to have a dad. He left me. I took it very personal. It wasn't that he left us, he left me. And I remember writing in my journal, my daddy left me and he's never He's never coming back. And just being so sad that my dad wasn't there, and so sad that I was losing that only opportunity, to the point that I even raised my kids to the point that I was like, if you're gonna leave and you're gonna do whatever you do, then don't do the in and out thing. Like, that hurts more than anything, and I didn't want my kids to even have to go through something like that. Trying not to cry, I promise. But fast forward a few years, I'm about 27 at the time and living in Arizona, and my dad and I had been at war for years, and we fought back and forth all the time about everything. We fought. So one day we're on the phone and we're arguing, and he was saying, like a bunch of stuff, and I was like, I'm so tired of arguing with you, like so tired. Can we just move on with our life and just really be done with this? Because I'm so tired of arguing with you. Like, you drive me crazy. We're obviously don't like each other. We obviously don't want nothing to do with each other. So let's just sever our relationship. And I'm okay with that. Like, you go live your life, I'll go live mine, and we just don't communicate with each other anymore. And that was fine with me. And he was like, what are you talking about? You're my daughter. I'm never leaving you. And I was like, oh, please. Like, everybody knows that you never wanted me. Everybody knows. It's like, it's not a secret. Mom told me you never wanted me because I'm a girl. So, like, go do you and I'll go do me, and everybody will be fine. You live your life, I'll live mine. It'll all be good. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh my God. Like, why are you, like, acting like you didn't... and I just was like, why are you acting like this? Just be honest. Everybody knows. It's not a secret. Just be real. Keep it real, And I was just so frustrated and annoyed with him. So he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I always wanted you. And I was like, no, you didn't. I mean, like, you made it very clear when I was young. He's like, I never said that I didn't want you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, Mom told me that. Like, every day of my life, she told me that. And he was like, that is not true. I don't know why she told you that. I don't even know. And he's like, she didn't tell you that. There's no way she told you that. Like, you must be making that up, or you must be whatever. And I was like, look, I'm not making this up. This is what she said. She said this all the time. She always used to tell me that. And he was just like, he did not believe me whatsoever. So I called my brother on three-way. And I'm like, hey, what if Mom... So my dad can hear it, and my brother doesn't know my dad's on the phone, right? And I asked him, like, remember what Mom used to say about me with Dad? And he's like, oh, that you were a girl and you should go sit down. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. Like, I was like, what else did she say? And he said that Dad never wanted girls and he never wanted you. And I'm like, boom, there you go. He said it. And my dad was like, what? Wait a minute, what? He was for hours. What? And he drove out that weekend to Arizona. And we went and had dinner. And just me and him were talking. And he was like, that's not true. There's nothing about that that's true. And I don't know why she told you that, and I don't know what she was thinking when she told you that, but, it's not true. It's just not true. And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, I think at that point, there's 27 years of my mom telling me something, that it became a part of my identity. It became a part of who I was, to the point, that me and my dad just had a bad relationship, and I just hated him and he hated me, and that's just how we lived our life. But at that time, I hearing him say, I wanted you, part of me thought, okay, he's just saying this to save face because he doesn't really want to. I still needed him to prove it to me. I still needed him to prove that he wanted me in his life. So the years went by, and I had Danica, and he's very involved in Danica's life. He's always been involved in all my kids' lives, but he was there, and he was coming out and spending time with us in Arizona over those 5 years, and we made more of an effort to be together and be around each other than we ever had before. And I mean, that was great, but there was still this sense of like he doesn't really feel this way. So that whole idea of a father's love is something that was just foreign to me. It just wasn't something that I had felt like, yeah, I'm a girl who has a daddy, which is all I really wanted. I mean, that's all I wanted for so many years. I sought relationship after relationship after relationship, and really, I just wanted my daddy, you know? Um, a few years ago, we really just kind of had a heart to heart, me and him, and he was like, I don't know why your mom said that. He brought it up again, and I was like, we're really harping on this. Like, let's just let it go and move on. And everything was good, and I was good with it, so he should be good with it, and everybody should be good just letting it go. Then, this year, on my birthday, I flew to California, and I just decided to spend my birthday with my dad. And so, we were driving to the restaurant, we were talking, and he said, you know what? I want to talk about that stuff your mom said. I want to talk about that again. And I was like, okay, like, what about it? And he said, I think that the reason why your mom is so, you know, like that, and why she said that stuff to you, is because she knew that I didn't want her. Back it up a little bit. My mom and dad got pregnant with me before they got married. And so in the 70s, the way my dad was raised, really, in a religious home, you get married before you have children. And so he was afraid of what my grandma would say. And so he, said to my mom, okay, we got to get married. Like, if you're having my baby, and we got to get married. And so, that's a crappy reason to get married, and everybody knows that's a crappy reason. But he says that he married her for me, and that he said she's, he was saying while we were driving, I'm sorry that she told you that I didn't want you, when the reality is I was choosing you by marrying her. And I sat back and I kind of thought about it a little bit, because that idea was something that was so foreign to me, somebody choosing me, because I'm always the not chosen one. I know it sounds like super crazy, and people don't really believe that, but that's the truth. I'm the last kid to be picked on the baseball team. I'm always the last one. It's just who I am. So when he said, I chose you, I married her because I was choosing you. I wanted you in my life. And it kind of it hit me. But later that day, he was talking to my girlfriends, my Jeannie and Andrea, while we were finishing up dinner, and he was saying some things. He said, but her mother. And my whole life, all I hear, my mom, your dad. My dad's like, your mom. And I put up blinders. Like, I don't want to hear, I don't care. I mean, either way, I have to live with both of them. I have to be around both of them. So I just put a big wall to both of those sides. But when he was talking about it, and he was saying, I chose her. The reason why I was with her is because I chose her. There was something in my soul that needed to hear that. Like, I needed to hear that. And I remember getting on the plane and coming home and thinking about the fact that he chose me. He chose me. He chose me. Over and over and over. I thought about this and thought about this and thought about this. And then I correlate that to God, because I can't correlate it any other way. I've struggled for most of my life accepting Christ, that he truly chooses me and truly loves me, because that's just so foreign to me. It's such a concept that I can't comprehend. That her having my father say, I choose you. It's one thing for me to say, yeah, I love God, or I'm choosing God. But it felt like God saying to me, no, Teresa, I choose you. I choose you. I chose you. I called you. I purposed you. And it changed the way I was feeling in that moment about that relationship, about a father's love. I definitely know that God loves me. I definitely know that God loves you. I know that he loves us all. But however that means, or whatever that means, it's just so hard to understand. I always felt like I had to do something to be loved in return. I couldn't just be loved just for being me, right? So now, fast forward, a few months, and I'm definitely sitting in this. There's a song out called As You Find Me by Hillsong. And the song says, Your love's too good to leave me here. And it's funny because I keep going back. Well, every time I hear it, I'm thinking about all the landmarks and the places that I've been where he loved me so much that he couldn't leave me in each of those places, that I had to go back and be changed internally to move forward. Each time, every time. I had to, as a child, I had to understand that my father loved me, then I had to accept that he loved me, and then I had to understand, like, just comprehend it in a different way. Every level of it has been another level. Like, it's not good enough for me to just stay where I'm at. I have to constantly be evolving and constantly be changing and constantly be growing and constantly getting better, because that's how we grow. That's how we change. That's how we go from grace to grace and change from level to level. And God's love is so amazing, and it's something that I couldn't comprehend until recently. I couldn't even understand it, or understand yeah, I'm a mom and I love my kids firstly, and I would do anything for my kids. And if I put it in that perspective, okay, that's a great perspective to look at it from. But we're talking about a father, and fathers' jobs are to protect and to nurture and to guide. They guide us through life, and they don't leave us. My dad's not going to say, okay, that's good enough. No, my dad and I have now a really good relationship because we've taken the time to work out our problems, and we've gone to counseling and worked out our issues, and now we're open. Instead of getting mad and walking away, we're staying and having those conversations that are maybe hard. And I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for that, I still have a dad. And my dad has had a kidney transplant, and there have been things that have happened that I'm not guaranteed a dad tomorrow. My dad could die today. He's on dialysis 4 days a week. There's all kinds of crazy going on. So it's important for me to have dealt with this before he passes, because I don't think that I would be whole if he passed and I didn't know, And I'm so thankful to God for giving me that, the love of a human father as well as the love of a heavenly father. And I hope that whatever issues you have with your parents or with your children or other close relatives, that it's something you figure out before we don't have any more time, I'm so grateful that God loves me enough to not keep me where I was, and to continue to grow me and change me and strengthen me and push me through to the next level. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I'm getting love in a different way, in a way that doesn't come from a man that's not my father. Because girls need that. And if you're a father and you have a daughter, you gotta love her. You gotta give that girl your world. You have to show her. You have to show her the kind of man that she deserves, because you're the only representation of that. And if you don't take the time to show her, this is the kind of man I'm the man I want you to be. I want you to marry. I'm the man. Like, I am the kind of man that I want you to marry. Take their mom out on dates. Love their mom. Don't talk bad about their mom, because when you talk bad about their mom, you're talking bad about them. They take it that way. My parents don't get that. But I'm telling you, I'm 43, and my parents talk about each other every hour. Every single time I'm in a room with them, the other parent comes up. Every time. All the time. Gotta stop talking negative about the other parent to your kids. You have to. If you're not together. And if you are together, give your girl the world. Show her the man that she deserves, the man that you want her to have, because she needs that. I love you guys. I'm gonna stop crying now. I'll go fix my face. I didn't want to cry, but I gotta go. I gotta work. I love you. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.